PlayStation Portal is a hot item at the top of 2025. Ever since the new update came out last, what was it, December or so? It's been a very hot item, and obviously the performance has been much better. So I'm sure you noticed a lot more YouTube videos and YouTubers like me talking about the device more. Hell, even there's some channels are even completely dedicated to the PlayStation Portal. I've already made a couple of videos about the PlayStation Portal, but this one is kind of like a tips and tricks and top things to get going, and maybe even a little bit about my personal setup. Now for me, I play the PlayStation Portal completely at home. I don't play it on the road or on the go. I don't take it to work or anything like that. There's a little bit more steps you'll probably have to do if you want to get it working mobily, like such as off a hotspot if your work Wi-Fi. But at home, the steps are pretty simple. So I'd say your first step, obviously, besides syncing it up and getting it actually connected to your PS5, if that's what you're going to use it for, is to set a static IP address for both the PlayStation Portal itself and for the PlayStation 5. This is done pretty simply. You can actually set a static IP on the PS5 itself, but I would actually suggest that you set this static IP in your actual router. Now, router setups are completely different depending on what router you have, so I'm not going to go into great detail about doing that. It could be called IP preservation or reservation. There's a couple of ways it's used, but basically you're going to set an IP address that is always the same and it never changes. Another setting on your router you're going to want to turn on is something called UPnP. That's going to make it so your devices can talk to each other much easier. I know one of the top things that people say, of course, is to actually plug your PS5 in through Ethernet cable directly to your router, but we all know sometimes that's just not possible. And depending on the size of your home, you probably have everything connected via Wi-Fi. I personally have my setup through Wi-Fi and it works perfectly fine. But when I first got my Portal, it wasn't quite as nice. So what I had to actually want to do was buying a new router. It only cost me about $65 on Amazon, but the router that came with my ISP wasn't that good and it wasn't very customizable. So I had to get a new router that was much more customizable and made me be able to open things up more. And it had two bandwidths on it that were actually separated, a 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth and the 5 gigahertz one. So the ISP router that I got actually will combine the two and decide for itself which bandwidth it wanted to put you on, which obviously made it a problem. So when I separated them out, so currently my PlayStation Portal, my personal computer, and the PS5 are the only devices that are on my 5 gigahertz network. So there's not a whole bunch of congestion and stuff there, and it works like perfectly fine. Another thing you might want to do if you haven't already upgraded your router is maybe upgrade your ISP service itself. I know the limitations for upload and download speeds are pretty low for a PlayStation Portal, but depending on where you are in the country, you may have to actually get a higher plan in order to get enough internet and bandwidth to work. So I know that's the downside to me, and I pointed this out in my own video, that you basically have to become a network expert in order to get this thing to work. I know there are some people who got there straight out of the box and it worked perfectly. There was no problems. Maybe their network were set up perfectly already to begin with, but that just wasn't the case for most people that I know and people like me. So these last couple of tips is kind of what I've given to some people who just got a PlayStation Portal for the first time and wanted to get it working a little bit more. Use cases. Now we all know there's a lot of use cases. Most of us were able to think of what we wanted the Portal for in the first place. Maybe you only have one TV in your home or one main TV. That's the one your PS5 is connected to. So you don't want to disturb anybody else or basically make it so no one else can watch TV in the house while you're on PS5. So for gamer dads or moms out there who don't want to disturb the television from the children or something, this is perfect for you. For me, that's not really a problem for me. I think I've stated this in my video before. It's more freeing me up from sitting at my gaming setup at my desk, which is basically right here, where I have to sit here and play PS5, particularly now during the football season. I love to sit out and watch football in the living room on the big TV while I actually play on my Portal as well and get a little bit of gaming on in between, especially during halftime and things of that nature. Some people, maybe you do actually want to take this out on the road with you, or maybe you're a trucker and you want to take it out with you while you're, making your deliveries, whatever it is that truckers do, I don't know. Or maybe you just want to use your lunch break to play some gaming as well. I wouldn't really use it for that because one of the downsides, and this is obviously something that's been stated before, is that this device is internet dependent. And if you don't have the perfect internet or don't have control of the internet that it's connected to, then you may have problems connecting, such as work networks or school networks are notoriously locked down for security issues. And then when it comes to your ISPs for like say cellular service or whatever, their hotspots are just an extension of their cellular service. And there's all kinds of blocks and stuff put in there depending on what kind of plan you have. So those can cause issues too. I myself, if I can't do something right and well, I kind of don't want to do it at all. So something I had to get over to make a YouTube channel, right? Because my videos obviously aren't perfect. But when it comes to my gaming, if I can't sit down in peace and play games, and I won't even play until I can. And the same kind of thing with this, since I know I'll have some difficulty playing it out in the world, if you will, I don't even bother trying that, but I know that it might be it for some of you guys out there. Anyway, this video is just for some of you people who obviously either are on the fence or already have a PlayStation Portal. It works great for me on my use case and using it around my house or sitting at the kitchen table or wherever I decide to play this thing. And I enjoy it very much, and especially with the new 4.0.1 update, it made everything so much better, got rid of the micro setting, everything smoother. And then of course, which we cannot forget about, the adding of PlayStation Premium, where you can actually stream to your PS5, stream from the cloud, without the need of a PS5. So for a lot of you people out there, one of the use cases could be that someone else is actually playing on the PS5 and you can have another child play from the cloud, or even yourself play from the cloud while someone else is actually using your PS5. Or maybe you don't even own a PS5, but you still want to access to some of those games, so you can play without even owning a PS5. Now, the thing is, the library for the beta cloud streaming is pretty limited, but there are some great AAA games on there for now. Just remember, people, it is a beta. This is not its like final form, if you will, and there'll be a lot more games and a lot more features and stuff added. With that said, just wanted to give a little update on the Portal for some of you new people that may have gotten something, and from somebody who just used the Portal. I'm not a huge YouTuber. I don't get sent this stuff for free. I'm just a regular guy who bought one and is just using it every day. And with that being said, L Dumber the Gamer, y'all. Ooh, L Dumber. No. L Double the Gamer, y'all. We out.